If you're currently learning a language with an app, with a textbook, or with an online course, then you're wasting your potential. Because in 2025, there are methods out there which are far more efficient than grammar exercises. And in this video, I'm going to explain you why. So generally, we have two strategies of learning a language. The first one, as I mentioned, is grammar exercises. So as we go in school, we learn how grammar works, how we drop an and, how we conjugate, how this works, and then we have to fill out some exercises, and this is basically how we're supposed to learn a language, and this is how we used it from school. And so when we learn our third language, like Korean, we continue doing this, and yeah, then we are surprised that the process isn't coming. And I had the same problem because after I was learning Korean for about 1 year, and then I moved to Korea, and I was still so surprised that I couldn't understand anything what people are saying, and I was living in Korea already, and I couldn't speak to people. I wasn't confident at all about my language skills, and this is why I searched for a new strategy. And there's another way to learn a language, and this is how you learned your very first language, your mother tongue. And as a child, you learned it just by listening to your surroundings, and then you learn it naturally. And this works completely different because what you're doing is you're just listening to conversations, and then your brain is automatically finding those patterns inside a language, and this is how you learn a language. So if you compare those two strategies with each other, we have old language learning, which is learning by exercises, focusing on grammar, creating right and wrong, punishing mistakes, depending on errors, forcing a language into your brain, learning in an abstract way, and together the goal is to be perfect. And the new language acquisition is acquiring by context, focusing on comprehensive input, understanding more and less, embracing mistakes, is independent, naturally absorbs the language, learning from real Korean conversations, and the goal is to understand messages. So the first strategy of grammar exercises has a big problem that we're trying to get perfect. So in school we were punished basically with bad grades if you make a mistake, if you're bad, and this leads to this confidence issue that people, when they go out into the real world and want to start like speaking a language, they're making too much pressure on them, they're trying to make everything perfect, and then they can't speak to other strangers. This is absolutely killer for language. So the absolute most important part of learning a language is making mistakes. And with this old strategy, usually people, they stuck, they freeze up. And this is, well, how this lead us to by getting raised to make it perfect. And yeah, this is definitely hindering the progress. And while the second strategy of comprehensible input was only available for advanced learners, because if you imagine like watching TV shows and you don't understand anything, then you feel a little bit unconfident, and then people usually stop using this kind of strategy even though it's working. The game has changed in 2025, because in 2025 we have AI. So this enables us to learn from real conversations from day one. This means what you are supposed to do is listen to real conversations. I recommend TV shows for that. And from day one, start to deconstruct those sentences, start learning from real conversations, because when you see a grammar there, you can still abstract it, analyze it, and if you see the grammar again in context, you start to understand how this grammar works and when it's used. And how all of this works, I'm going to show you right now.
First thing you have to do is to add a browser extension called Language Reactor. So here, Language Reactor, it's free available, and then this enables you to have double subtitles. This is also more for advanced learners, so if you can understand a sentence already without looking up the grammar, then just go with double subtitles, read the Korean or your desired language, and then read the English subtitle and go sentence by sentence. So if you're more a beginner, then this is how you do it. You listen to the sentence.
하늘은 둥글고 땅은 네모나다는 천원지방의 원리가 담겨 있지.
Then you copy the sentence. You can do it like here, copy, or you can press Control and C. You go into your AI, and as a free version, you can use ChatGPT. You can paste this sentence and write deconstruct. Then we wait a little bit here, and it's explaining here translation from another. And then here it's explaining what's doing with that. Should be on. Yeah. And as a paid version, I created an AI for my students, and this is called Deconstructor. So if I use this, I paste it here, I make generate results, wait a few seconds, and then it explains your every grammar here in detail, every part of sentence. And you can also copy one grammar that you like to learn more about, like for example, go. Yeah, and if you only put this grammar here, then you can see more about this grammar, and it's breaking down the grammar in detail. And this is how you can learn on the go. There's other tools here inside the Korean Reactor: Deconstructor, Differenter, Conjugator, Corrector, Projector, Translator, which will extremely accelerate your learning progress and which I use myself every day.
With this strategy, we're basically learning a language on the go. This means when we go into conversation and we see a grammar existing there, then from there we start to understand it and we can learn it directly by context. This helps us to create a connection with the real world, what we're learning, what we're using, and will automatically make you speak at some point. You have to build first your listening skills, and at some point you want to start speaking and try out if you can already speak. And with this strategy, you can build your basic confidence, and at some point you start speaking to natives. This is the best strategy of learning a language in 2025. I guarantee. I use it myself every day. Even as an advanced learner, you can still do it, even if you already learn by speaking to someone. And if you want to learn more about improving your learning skills, you can check out my channel, subscribe to my video, and I'll see you in the next one.